Shinkansen. Well, here we are in Hiroshima, just off the Shinkansen bullet train. No pun intended, but bit the bullet and just paid for it. It's not the cheapest, but gets you down here nice and quick, about 4 hours. You spend half your time just trying to get out the stations here in Japan. We've got one of the older trams here, I believe it's like 2 or 3 survived from like the time of the bomb. I try and get on one if I can at some point. A little tour of the circular tour of the city, like a hop on, hop off. This rather unassuming and mundane street scene is actually the hypercentre of the Hiroshima atomic bombing. Hypercentre, I think most people know it as Ground Zero. On the 6th of August 1945, it's 8:15 in the morning, the Enola Gay B-29 bomber, piloted by Colonel Paul Tibbets, dropped a little boy bomb. It was a 9,000 pound bomb of uranium-235, dropped about 600 metres, 2,000 feet, right above this spot, parachuted from the Enola Gay, and took out 5 square kilometres, I believe it was, of the city of Hiroshima, manufacturing city. That's why it was one of the main targets. Instantly killed an estimated 80,000 people and tens of thousands more in the preceding months. Anyone within the immediate vicinity, I think within a couple of kilometres, was immediately killed with a force of 12 to 15,000 tonnes of TNT, or equal to 12 to 15,000 tonnes. Imagine living in this apartment block now. Kind of bizarre. People coming outside all the time, taking pictures, tours. See a plaque to it just over there. Just over the river, we've got what's undoubtedly Hiroshima's most famous site, and one of the only partially standing structures within the immediate vicinity of the hypercentre is the Hiroshima Prefectural Industrial Promotional Hall, referred to as the Genbaku Dome. Genbaku is atomic bomb in Japanese. See the dome there obviously at the top. Built in 1914, I believe, to a design of Jan Letzel, Czech architect. According to UNESCO, it's been left in the exact same state it was when the bomb went off. It's maybe somewhat ironic Western design building. It's one of the only real structures that survived, quite largely intact as well, quite a testament to the build of the building itself. Go and have a look inside for maybe an hour or so inside the Peace Memorial Museum. Nice sort of memorial monument here, like an eternal flame. Getting back and doing, I think. Swimming baths, 1935, so 10 years before. It's hard how like the little shrine archway has survived in amongst all the devastation. was a very good museum actually. It was only 200 yen, roughly about £1 British. Very comprehensive look at the atomic bombing Also covers other areas like survivor stories, so called Hiroshima. I didn't sort of take pictures or film most of it because it's something you really have to come and see in person, I think, and it's quite graphic. I did take a bit of footage. I didn't realise they existed still. Read about it. The shadows etched in stone existed for many years after, all around the sort of city, surviving parts of the city. Shadows are like people and objects. Shadows were created as a result of light from the blast, bleaching like the surrounding stone and stuff, like with the steps. I took a bit of video of. Apparently there was a gentleman who sat outside waiting for one of the banks to open when the blast went off. Formed like a shadow, obviously been a bit weathered over time. Didn't realise any still existed. I thought they'd all since been weathered away over time, but I think it was removed from the bank in 1971 and placed in the museum. There was actually a gentleman as well, one of the Hibakusha, though I think he was only recognised not long before his death that he had been caught in the bomb blast in Hiroshima, and then several days later he travelled straight after to Nagasaki. I think he jumped in the water, survived the initial bomb blast, got on the train, went to Nagasaki, and 3 days later got caught in the bomb blast there as well, but managed to survive both and lived the right way through to 2010 at Tsutomo, Yamaguchi. Tree here that survived the atomic bomb blast, not too far from the hypercenter. 530 meters apparently. Quite mad that really, isn't it? Big tree, but still you would think it would have been uprooted. The dome from behind. I think this is as close as you can get. You can see all the bricks, actually masonry, stone masonry just collapsed on the ground. Obviously looks like it's just been left there. You can see all like the dome cylindrical parts remain intact, all like the original brickwork, lots of facade and steel work inside the frame, steel frames. Just for perspective and context, the dome's here and the hypercenter is just behind this large building here, or was, the hypercenter was behind this large building here. Obviously the bomb detonated above ground, as I mentioned already. I think that's one of the reasons why you're able to sort of walk around these days, like almost 80 years later, without fear of like radiation poisoning at all, because it's not really in the soil, because it didn't detonate on the ground. Saying about people like getting selfies and whatnot, like grinning and whatnot in the photos, like the dome and other sites. A bit weird. I'm surprised not seeing anyone do star jumps yet. Getting a picture taken wouldn't surprise me. Like the steel girders and the stairs, I think it must have been. Stairway, steel stairway. Still see like these scorch marks from the intense heat, like 4,000 plus Celsius centigrade around the sort of hypercenter area. Actually get up a bit closer to it if you go around the front part on the promenade. See the dome right up close, still got the metal framework, and more or less the same shape. A lot of the finer aesthetic architectural details still survive on the facade. Just laying there, cleaning itself.